Hello students, in our yesterday's class we were discussing about the sliding filament theory which was proposed by a scientist called H. Huxley. Yes. So in that the sliding or the thin filament over the thick filament, the sliding of the thin filament over the thick filament. So in that very clearly we understood that actin as well as one more is the myosin proteins which are present in the muscles. So during contraction of muscles and during relaxation of muscles. So what kind of things are going to take place in our body, that is given by, or that is the best explained by Huxley theory, that is sliding filament theory. And in that concept we need to understand one more is, in some of the muscles the maximum amount of oxygen can be stored. So do you remember, in our body in some of the muscles the maximum amount of the oxygen can be stored. So in that particular muscles we usually observe red color. So they are considered as red muscles. They are called as red muscles. And in some of the muscles a very less amount of oxygen will be present. So for that reason, and that kind of muscles are simply referred as white muscles. And in our body we are going to understand, or we will be having both red muscles as well as white muscles. Okay? So that is what we discussed in the previous class. At the same time, today we are moving on to the one more very important topic, that is skeletal system. See, in our body, particularly that is human skeletal system. I mean to say, in human beings, what are the different bones and cartilages are present, and that can be discussed in today's topic. That is particularly the skeletal system includes, that is bones, one more is cartilage, it also includes joints. Remember, these all together including, come under skeletal system. So here mainly how many bones are there, and where the cartilages are present, and where the joints are present, and what is the role of joints here. Yes sir. So in case of human beings, without joints we cannot move our body organs or body parts. Am I right? If I look from this vision to this location, means here definitely there must be a kind of movement has to be takes place. And same time here also a kind of movement has to be takes place. And while writing also some kind of movements are going to takes place. And those all things are going to takes place only in presence of joints. And what are those joints and how they are going to be functional? Yes. So that thing can be understood in human skeletal system. So in brief we'll discuss. First, the whole skeletal system, I can write like SS. Just remember, SS refers to the human skeletal system. And according to our convenient, the whole skeletal system, that is human skeletal system, can be divided into, that is, I told you right now, it is according to our convenient. So one will be axial skeletal system. Remember the word axial skeletal system. And the second one is appendicular skeletal system. So once again I am telling you people, according to our convenient, the human skeletal system can be divided into two parts. So in that one is axial skeletal system, another one is appendicular skeletal system. And before this, the human skeletal system contains almost 206 bones. Remember the word. The human skeletal system, particularly in adult human beings, there are 206 bones. 206 bones will be present. And at the same time, we need to understand there are more than 300 bones will be present in the newly born baby. Remember, according to one study, there are more than 300 bones present in the newly born the baby. And during the developmental stage, some of the bones can be fused each other, and resulting in the number of bones can be reduced. So finally in adult human being, totally there are 206 bones will be present. And those 206 bones are categorized into, are divided into axial skeletal system and appendicular bones or skeletal system. Here, axial skeletal system or axial bones we can call it as axial bones. So those are 80 bones, remember. So there are 80 axial bones are present in the adult human body. At the same time, appendicular skeletal system or appendicular bones, there are 126. 126. So 126 plus 80, that makes 206. Clear? So this is how we are going to classify the whole human skeletal system. And now we understand what are those axial bones and what are those appendicular bones. So we'll discuss one by one. First and foremost, please note it. First one we will have axial bones. We have axial bones. So that axial bones which are 18 number. We'll go one by one. First one, we have skull. First one is we have skull. See here the whole skull which contain 22 bones. Remember, skull is made up of 22 bones. In that, again the skull is divided into. Remember, again the skull, the head part is considered as skull. So the whole skull is made up of 22 bones. In that, again we are going to divide the skull into, one is cranium. Remember the word cranium, and second one is, that is cranium, or we can call it as cranial bones. We have cranium or cranial bones, and second one is facial bones. Cranial bones, second one is facial bones. So these two are these two bones come under the skull bone. In this, again the cranial bones are 18 number. Remember, so the cranial bones are 18 number, and the facial bones are remaining how much? 22 minus 8. How much? Yes, there are 14. Remember, 14 are facial bones and 8 are cranial bones. So which includes what? The temporal, parietal, yes, many are there. And in case of facial, we'll be having zygomatic, we'll have mandibular, maxilla. So many different are there. The same time here we'll be having one more, which is come under this one called as hyoid bone. Yes, remember. So one U-shaped bone considered as hyoid bone, which is present at this location. That is hyoid bone, which is included in the 22 bones. Clear? Out of 80, we discussed about 22 bones come under skull. That is skull again divided into cranial bones. Second one is facial bones. There are 8 and 14, including hyoid bone. This is one set. Second one. After skull, second one we will be having vertebral column. Second one is vertebral column. We can call it as backbone. Yes or no? Simply called as backbone. And this backbone is made up of 26 bones. Remember the word vertebral column. Again, it is made up of 26 bones. So what are those 26? Imagine it is considered as a brain. Just imagine it is considered as a brain. And from, the last part of the brain is considered as medulla oblongata. Yes or no? So it is considered as medulla oblongata. And from the medulla oblongata we will be having, yes, this part is considered as vertebral column. Yes, which can run from the neck to till the pelvic region. So that extended part is considered as vertebral column. And this whole vertebral column is again which is made up of small parts. Considered as vertebral disc. They are considered as vertebral disc. So each disc will be like this. Yes or no? So they are considered as, this one single is considered as vertebral disc. Imagine this diagrammatic presentation is like this. So when you make like this, yes, one, second one, third, fourth, five, like this, there are 26 vertebral discs are present. And here total out of 26, I told you like no, there are 26 vertebral discs are there. In that, starting 7 discs. Remember, starting, from here to here, starting 7 discs are considered as cervical vertebrae. Remember, starting 7 are called as cervical vertebrae, and next 12, yes, after 7, next 12 are considered as thoracic vertebrae. Vertebra, single word, vertebrae, plural form. So, first 7 are considered as cervical vertebrae, and next 12 are called as thoracic vertebrae. They are present in the thoracic region, chest region. They are considered thoracic vertebrae. Yes, 7 plus 12. Right? 7 plus 12 means 19. Yes or no? Next, after thoracic, we will be having 5 lumbar vertebrae. Lumbar or lumbar, whatever the pronunciation, but spelling remains same. So after thoracic, we will be having 5 lumbar vertebrae, and 19 plus 5 equal to 24. Yes or no? This is one. And after 5 lumbar vertebrae, we will be having one that is sacral vertebrae. One will be sacral vertebrae, and one means 24 plus 1 is equal to 25. And last, at this end of this vertebral column, that is, we will be having one that is coccyx. Coccygeal, or we can call it as coccyx. So now 25 plus 1 is equal to 26. I hope you understand. This is what? Second one. This vertebral column is also come under, that is axial bones, in 80 bones. Yes. Now in short, I can write out of 26. First one will be cervical vertebrae, that is 7. Cervical vertebrae 7. Second one, thoracic vertebrae 12. Thoracic 12. And third one, lumbar vertebrae 5, sacral vertebrae 1, coccyx 1, or coccygeal bone, that is 1. 7 plus 12, 19, 19 plus 5, 24, 25, 26, altogether 26. They are considered as vertebral column. Now, we will be having one flat bone. That flat bone is called as sternum. That flat bone is called as sternum. That sternum is present at this location. Imagine it is head part. Here we will be having neck. Yes or no? Particularly at this position. Imagine. Yes. So here we will be having esophagus, then ribs, whatever, and particularly at this location. At this location, we will be having one flat bone called as sternum. It is only one. Yes, the role of this sternum is ventrally it can protect the lungs as well as heart. This is what the sternum. It is present at this position. You can understand from here to at this location. And this is what one sternum. Next, we'll be having ribs. Yes, we can call it as ribs, or we can call it as rib cage. And total there are 24 bones. In 24 bones, and in a very simple, we can call it as 12 pairs. 12 pairs. So, in very good diagrammatic representation, imagine it is vertebral column. It is vertebral column at dorsal region. It is dorsal region called as vertebral column, and here we will be having, that is at front region, at ventral region, sternum. I can show here so that better you can understand. Here we will be having vertebral column, and the front region will be having that sternum. And what I am trying to tell you is that out of 12 pairs, remember, out of 12 pairs, 1 to 7 pairs, 1 to 7 pairs, they are directly arise from. See, remember what kind of word I am using here? 1 to 7 pairs. I mean, starting 7 pair of ribs can be directly arises from the vertebral column and directly attached to the sternum in the ventral region. See, what I am trying to tell you is that starting 1 to 7 pairs, they can be arising from the vertebral column and they directly attached to the sternum. Likewise, yes, 1 to 7 pair. That means starting 7th pair. Starting 7th pair. This is what, like this. Dorsally arise from vertebral column and ventrally attached to the sternum. And so 1 to 7 pairs are called as true ribs. They are called as true ribs. So why they are called as true ribs? Because these 1 to 7 pairs directly arise from the vertebral column and ventrally attached to the sternum. And next, after 7, 8, 9 and 10th pair. 8, 9 and 10 pair. What happens? See, these 8, 9, 10 pairs can be directly arise from the vertebral column and they are not attached to the sternum. Remember, okay, they are not attached to the sternum. Then how they are present? Yes, see, this is what, imagine sternum. It is sternum, imagine. Here 8, 9, 10 we are talking about. Yes, now imagine it is vertebral column. Yes, this is, imagine 7th pair of rib. It is 7th pair. Yes, sir? 7th pair. See, what I am trying to tell here is that this 8th pair arises from the vertebral column and ventrally attached to the 7th pair, not to the sternum. This is considered as 8, 9, 10th pair. Hope you. And same time you need to remember 1 to 7th pair directly arise from vertebral column, that is dorsal, and ventrally attached to the sternum. So called as true ribs. And 8, 9, 10th are arise from vertebral column, but they are not attached directly to the sternum. But what happens? 8th pair arise from vertebral column attached to the 7th pair, like this. And 9th one arise from the vertebral column and attached to the 8th bone. This. And 10th pair arise from the vertebral column and attached to the 9th pair. So they are called as 8, 9, 10 pair are called as false ribs. They are called as false ribs. Remember the word false ribs. And last, 11th and 12th pair. Yes, 11th and 12th pair, they are directly arise from the vertebral column and they are nowhere attached to the ventral region. They nowhere they are attached to the ventral region. I mean, they are directly arise from the vertebral column and nowhere it is attached to the sternum. Hence, 11th and 12th ribs are called as floating ribs. Why they are called as floating ribs? Because these 11th and 12th ribs not attached to the sternum ventrally. Nowhere they are attached. But however, 8, 9, 10 are, see, 1 to 7th directly arises from vertebral column attached to the sternum. And 8th attached to the 7th, 9th attached to the 8th, 10th attached to the 9th in ventral region. But 11th and 12th arise from vertebral column but nowhere attached to the ventral region. So consider as floating ribs. I can write in a different manner. See, I told you right now, totally there are 24 ribs, I mean to say 12 pairs. In that, 1 to 7 ribs are considered as 1 to 7, 2 ribs. And 8, 9 and 10th ribs are, a pair of ribs are considered as false ribs. And last 11th and 12th ribs are considered as floating ribs. Yes. Now come back to the point. See, out of totally 80, first one exoskeleton in that skull 22 plus here over 22 plus 26, 26 plus 1 27 plus ribs 24. How much? 2 plus 6 8, 8 plus 1 9, 9 plus 5 15, 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 2 6 and 7. Yes. Sorry, 6 plus 2, 8, 9 and 9 plus 3, 13. Yes or no? And 2, 4, 6, 7. Total there are 73 ribs are over. Yes, and totally there are 80 bones in the axial. So for that reason again we need 6 bones. So they come under 2, 3, 4 and here I can write 5 called as ear ossicles. They are called as ear ossicles. They are first ear bones. Ear bones. I mean each ear, it may be right or it may be left. So each ear contains 3 bones. They are considered as medius, incus, stapes. Yes, 1, 1, 1. I mean 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1. The first two, medius, right ear, left ear, incus, right ear, left ear, stapes, right ear, left ear. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. Totally there are 6 ear ossicles. I mean ear bones are present. As you know that smallest bones in the human body. Smallest bones in the human body. So now 73 plus 6 is equal to 80 bones. So they are considered as axial bones. I hope you understand. So, and this is enough for today's class, and remaining this we'll discuss it tomorrow. Thank you.